today I'm going to be showing you how I gacha edit. So, first I like to grab my gacha character, and I'm going to put her like, I don't know, maybe I'll put her something like this. Maybe I'll position her like that. And after I'm done positioning her, I'm going to get rid of that layer, and I'm going to kind of make it, actually no, we're going to use this as our base. So if we're using this as our base, we're going to go to our selection layer, and we're going to click bucket, and we're going to just bucket here. Here, any like gray spots you want to get rid of. We want to make that white if we go back to our first layer. Because if we click on one of these squares, you notice how there's all those squares over there. That means that our edit is actually transparent. Exactly how we want it. Because what you can do with this is you can duplicate the layer, go to the first one, make this really big, and go to filter and change the color. And this is how I would normally just get my background colors, which is actually pretty cool. I really like the color purple around this time, so I'm just gonna stick with purple, or maybe pink. You know what? I'm gonna stick with actually, I guess we could. I guess we can go with blue. Yeah, that works. So now the next thing I usually like to do is I like to mark down what's light and what isn't light. So I'll add a new layer, clip it, and I'll set the add blending mode to add, get out of there, and then I'm just going to get this skin color and just play around with it. Now, the lighting I feel I want it to be the color yellow or something bright. You know, it's like something that just doesn't really have too much color to it, actually. I changed my mind. So we're gonna go like over here to this yellow, and we're gonna kind of make it a little light. And in fact, I'm gonna change my add to a screen, or linear dodge, because I think that might be better. We'll play around. So now I'm going to change my brushes, and I'm gonna go to pen fade. We're just gonna go to the fade part and change the thickness of the start to be around the same length, as you can see here. See how, see how my brush is like the same length? There's no like cutoffs there. Well, that's usually what I like to do. And then I like to get rid of the opacity so I get this nice fade out brush type of thing. Then I like to make my brush a little bigger, and I just want to plot down what parts are going to be bright. So because this is kind of like a circle, a little spear that I drew over here, I usually like to make my brush strokes curved and stuff, so that I can kind of get her lighting. Let's just get like this blob of lighting, you know? And then we'll kind of get her little hands over here. Actually, usually, I actually want this part to be the brightest, so we'll keep it at that. And then we're going to play around with the blending modes. I think add might do here. I don't know if any other blending modes satisfy me, so we'll just stick with add over here. So now after that, we're going to add in shadows and our clipping layer, and then multiply. And this is where I start adding in my shadows. I'll make the color a little, let's see. I actually do want it to be like, I don't know, kind of desaturated lighting, because I've never really played around with that. So now we're going to like make it like less thick at the end, and we're just going to turn on pen fade. I usually like to make sure my stabilizer is 10, and we're just going to do this. If the shadows are on that side, we'll just put it on one side as so. And because we're just like really playing this out, we'll just like do some brush strokes over here. And this is the sort of desaturated lighting I was kind of looking for, or two. Put some over here. And then we'll get her nose too. I know it's gonna kind of look a little weird, but I will do something about it. So not to worry. Not to worry. Alright. Now after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start going to eraser and grabbing out my airbrush triangle, where I'm going to kind of make these parts a little lighter to make it more realistic. So I would say that because the light is over here, I would say the shadows are most hardest over here. And the shadows are going to be lighter down here because that's what happens in real life. And then we're going to make this a little more airbrushy. And then we can like kind of do this. Just go at the bottom. See, usually the logic of how I deal with shadows is where the light is here, I just keep it the same. But like everywhere that's a little down here, I just kind of shade it to be a little more, you know, airbrushy. Because I can! I'm kidding. No, I mean, because that's how I observed of how shadows work in real life, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. I'm gonna like re-put the shadows here and just doing those numbers. Because it makes it look nice. I don't know. I just want a hard shadow there. Alright, now, the next thing... Oh, right. Eraser this. Because that's supposed to be lighter than it seems. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here. I'm going to take off that layer and make it white again. Because I don't know. I want it white all of a sudden. Then what I like to do is I like to add a new layer. And then... Actually, let's go back to the same multiply layer, and then I'm just gonna like fix up the hair a little. So I'm gonna make the shadows a little deeper over here because she's under the light. I guess so. Actually, we could also do one of these numbers. Maybe. No, her face looks weird. Maybe we can do this. I don't know, I guess that looks realistic enough. Doesn't it? I don't know. I don't like it. So we'll just do that. And we'll kind of, oh gosh. We'll make the little shadows over here a little lighter. And stage that back in. And add a little airbrush. I don't know. Ugh. Alright, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a new layer and I'm going to start adding in details. So for details, I will just take this and I'll just make these not thick at the ends and just do one of these. So I can add details to the hair. Let's see. Ah, right. So I could just have all the little parts going over here. And because we're editing over this, I'm going to go right ahead and color in the eyes because I'm going to do something special with this later. I should have just removed her eye pupils, but oh well. And then we're just going to keep doing that. Color that in. And make these little, I don't know what you call them. Strokes? I don't know. They just add detail to the hair. Like sharp strokes. Whatever. Sharp strokes. We'll call them sharp strokes. After that, we're going to add in a new layer. And I'm going to eyedrop this and make this a little darker. Like so. So I can make it look like, hey, there's a light on here. Yeah! And I'll usually just add them to edges. I won't add them like all over the place like this. Because, I don't know. It just kind of looks weird to me. So I'll just add them here and there. So that there's a perfect balance. Alright, I'll also make it multiply so I can play around with it. And be like, okay, which one do I like best? Alright, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clip the layer and set it to normal. And just pick a really desaturated color of this shine over here. Not that desaturated. Let's see, we could go over here. And then I'm going to just make it fade again. Oh, except this is really fade, making to a fade brush. And we're just going to be doing these little strokes. And then after that, I'm going to be taking my airbrushing out the parts that aren't really close to the light. And if they are, we'll just set add mode for that, or screen. I feel like screen works better. And then after that, we're going to get the other parts. And then we're going to airbrush that. And then after that, we're going to grab our eraser and make it depend soft, whatever, and just doing these numbers. Make it kind of sharp at the ends. Just do all these cool patterns on it, perform on them. And then we're going to grab the pen hard and we're just going to make these little incisions to show the detail of her hair. And then after that, we're going to kind of play around with the screen, not too much. And then we're going to add a new layer, and then after that, actually, we're going to delete that. Take this layer over here, add a folder, put it in there. It's going to look weird until you clip it and set the blade mode to multiply. Then we're going to just take this and actually add a lighter color to it. Copy and paste it from here, make it a little more lighter. I would say around here, but kind of a little more desaturated. And grab our airbrush, and I'm going to just do one of these numbers. I'm going to mark the edges like this because it really gives off a really cool effect. Then it makes it look less dead inside, personally to me. This is a little more harder light, so I would just get rid of that. And then grab my brush and get rid of any like errors. It just look a little weird. And then after that, we're going to play around with the eyes, add a new layer, set it to multiply. I'm just going to draw something in there. So I'm going to magic wand all my eyes, and I'm going to take this and make this a little more desaturated and go a little more to pink, cause color theory. And we're just going to kind of just make those eyes a little deep. Then after that, we're going to decrease opacity, add a new layer, switch to add, and then we're going to just take that, make it a little more orange, make it a little more brighter. And we're going to do that for the eyes. After that, we're going to decrease opacity, add a new layer, and we're going to be adding in a multiply, making this dip hard, and going back to darkness. Get rid of our force fade and just drawing our little pupils in there. After that, we're going to kind of decrease opacity, not really, to 88%, add a new layer, and then we're going to make the eyes shiny. So that's where we're going to take this and make it a little more brighter, make it a little more bluish. And we're just going to do in these parts first. Make it a little bright over there. Add a new layer, and we're going to grab our pen fade and just make those little reflections over here. Actually, I would get rid of this, get rid of that, and just redo that again, but over the eye whites, because it looks more realistic over the eye whites, in my opinion. And then we're going to kind of do a bunch of random stuff in here. Then we're going to do that, and That's about it. Maybe we should get rid of that. I don't know anymore. Anyways, we're gonna go to blur and we're going to kind of blur that out over here. Yeah, and then we're going to play around the color again because I don't really like it. Alright, and then after that, we're going to make that a little bigger. Opacity, make this an add. I don't like it. We'll just keep it at that. And then we're going to add a new layer, make this completely white to show the eye shine. This should do. Maybe. Then after that, we're going to go back to our add layer and make this a little more brighter. And there, eyes. And then we're going to add in a new layer, set it to multiply, and make it darker. Yep. And then we're going to play around with this. Put that under there, under all these eye layers, and we should be good. And then I'm gonna kind of just make this a little less. Their eyes aren't completely out in the open. After that, we're going to clip it and then make this blue over here. There's purple over here, so I would make this little purple show color reflectance. Decrease opacity. Then after that, close, yeah. Multiply, and you're gonna go over here and just draw out the little close wing folds. Like that, so. Yeah, I don't really know. Just had the clothing bolts there. Add a new layer, and we're gonna deepen them. Yeah, the part that makes it brighter. I don't know. Let me get screen. I guess so. Then we'll go over here to skirt, put it to add, and airbrush it out with an eraser. And then finishing touches would be like, I don't know. Get rid of this layer, make this black, and do this. Make it visible again. Actually make that a little blue. And then kind of make that little blue over here. Except not. I'll just add a new layer. Make it add, and do this. And I don't know. Well, crop it. And that is a gacha edit. That's how I edit. Bye.